Ready, set, action.
Welcome to New York City. I'm Dr. David Ennis, Professor of Politics at the King's College. From the comfort of my home, it's my pleasure to welcome you to the guided tour. There are many impressive features and landmarks in Lower Manhattan. The New York Stock Exchange, the final resting place of Alexander Hamilton, this symbol of aggressive financial optimism and prosperity, exciting and inexpensive local fare, George, Lady Liberty. The King's College is a Christian liberal arts college in New York City's financial district, founded in 1938. Our location is strategic, providing students with opportunities they won't find anywhere else on the planet. It is also strategically located near approximately 25 coffee shops. The college occupies 4 floors of office building, a peculiarity among its peers. The O'Keefe Student Union, the lobby, the 5th and 6th floors. The mission of the King's College is elegant. Through its commitment to the truths of Christianity and a biblical worldview, the King's College seeks to transform society by preparing students for careers in which they help to shape and eventually to lead strategic public and private institutions, and by supporting faculty members as they directly engage culture through writing and speaking publicly on critical issues. We are not a college for the faint of heart. We call our students to be good, brave, and ready. Six female houses, 4 male. Each house is named for an influential leader who embodies King's mission and ideals. Winston Churchill, Corrie ten Boom, Sojourner Truth, Dietrich Bonhoeffer, etc. They say it's a bit like Harry Potter. Slides and photos are a lot of fun, but let's use a little imagination. Breathe deeply, close your eyes, and picture the campus of the King's College. When you're ready, open your eyes. If you haven't done it yet, do it now. The 5th floor contains, among other things, the administrative wing. The current president is retired Brigadier General Tim Gibson of the United States Air Force. General Gibson discovered the college through his daughter, an alum. And in the fall of 2018, he was named the college's 7th president. He and his wife Nancy frequently host informal social gatherings to better get to know the student body. I'm told these are quite enjoyable. The 5th floors host several other facilities. The Lion's Den, Design Studio, Production Lab, Marketing and Communications, several classrooms, the Gutenberg Bookshop. This is the mailroom. It is generally not for student use. The City Room. This is the largest classroom on campus. The largest class has approximately 50 students. Small classes allow professors to apply the Socratic method to engage students and foster an environment where differences can be discussed respectfully. The City Room is also used to host well-known guest speakers, public reading of scripture, student-led worship, film shoots, performances, and more. The 5th floor also houses the faculty wing. It includes many offices. This is mine. Each professor holds weekly office hours so that students can ask questions about class or have conversations about life in general. We look at students not just as students, but as whole people. We are interested not only in your minds, but in your lives and well-being. Another way to connect with your favorite professors is to study abroad. Our students have visited Ireland, France, Italy, Israel, etc. So, how do we prepare students for an ever-changing job market, an ever-changing world? The core curriculum. Every student at King's takes classes in politics, philosophy, and economics. We have carefully planned out each major's curriculum to build and deepen knowledge as students move through it. Whether it's working on Wall Street, performing on Broadway, or raising a family of 4, we believe that if you truly want to understand the world and the people in it, it's important to understand how these three disciplines work together to shape our society. We use the elevators to get to class every day, never the stairs. Did you know that New York City has over 75,000 elevators? We have 8 of them. The 6th floor contains a number of classrooms. The Rosella Battles Library, the Student Services Desk, trophy cases. This area is called the Fishbowl. To be clear, there are no fish here. Every year, house leaders come to campus 12 days early for something called statesmanship, in which they undergo intense training to prepare their house for the year. Each house gets a brick, on which they write a value to uphold. It's a lot of bricks. These are the winners of the Founders Competition, our full tuition scholarship, awarded to 4 students each year. To compete for the scholarship, all you need to do is write an essay on that year's prompt, come to an Inviso visit weekend, and give a short presentation on your essay. Founders is an unforgettable experience. It's a great way to see the campus, experience New York, and make friends here even before school begins. While most Christian colleges provide their students with a giant rule book, King's takes a different approach. Each member of our community signs an honor code which says, "A student of the King's College will not lie, cheat, or steal, or turn a blind eye to those who do." We prefer this method because our students don't live in a Christian bubble. There's no way to write a rule or how-to guide for every situation they may encounter. Rather than dictate morality, the honor code develops integrity. The honor code gives students the freedom to make the right decision, and it supports and corrects them when they don't. No matter whether our students stay in the city after graduation or move back to their hometown or anywhere else in the world, the experience they gain here will set them apart and give them a leg up on their competition. Every graduate has the equal opportunity and responsibility to make the world a better place. That's it. That's the tour. Thank you so much for joining me. Professor David Ennis, signing off.
All right, and tour guides, you can go ahead and unmute yourselves. And then for everyone watching, this would be a good time actually in your top right-hand corner. If you click on Gallery View, you'll be able to see all the tour guides on the screen. There's 3 of them. I want them to introduce themselves really quickly. And then again, the number is in the chat. If you have any questions from the tour or just any Kings and general questions that you would like to ask a current student, feel free to text that number now and we'll get to those questions in just a minute. Annie Mae, let's start with you.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be here virtually with you all. My name is Annie Mae Jones, and I am a senior at King's, so I've been here 4 years. I moved here when I was a freshman from a tiny town in Tennessee, and I have been studying religious and theological studies throughout my 4 years, and last year I added on a business minor. So yeah, I'm really excited to be here with y'all. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Annie Mae. Brent, go ahead.
Yeah, hi, I'm Brent. I'm a sophomore here studying politics, philosophy, and economics as my major. I also have a minor in technology, innovation, and design, and another minor in theology. So I hope that's the world record for the amount of words that you can put into a degree. But I am a member of the House of C.S. Lewis. I was the vice president of the debate team this past year, and I'm from Columbus, Ohio.
Great. Kylia?
I'm Kylie. I'm a freshman at the King's College. I am studying politics, philosophy, and economics. I just declared a minor in theology. I'm in the house of Susan B. Anthony, and I am from Melbourne, Florida.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Okay, so I'm going to ask a few questions. Again, if a question comes to mind for those watching, feel free to text the number. So the first question, and any of you tour guides can jump in to answer this. Can someone just explain the house system a little bit more for us and just kind of what it's meant to you as a student?
Yeah, I can do that. If you don't know already, when you make your deposit and you officially say like, okay, I'm going to King's, it's a school for me, you will be placed into one of 10 houses. there are 4 guy houses and 6 girl houses, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. And they're each named after a person of influence who we want our students to emulate. I'm in the house of Margaret Thatcher, and I've been really involved in my house, especially for the past 2 years. So basically what it looks like, once you're placed into a house, you will be contacted and kind of find out like what house you're in, and maybe like someone will say hi to you from the leadership team who you'll probably get to know. Some of you might have already even gotten that email this week or last week, which is really exciting. And then over the summer, you'll probably be contacted by a house leader as well, kind of just saying hello again, getting you oriented, and maybe getting you a little bit, giving you an idea of what move-in is going to look like. So then once you get here in August to move in, members of your house are there to welcome you, help you bring your suitcases and stuff up to your apartment, show you your new place, and help you get settled in. That's a really, really cool experience. For me, when I drove up here all the way to Brooklyn from Tennessee, and our car was like jam-packed full of stuff, and I didn't have to carry any of it up. Which was so kind, so nice, because there were so many house members and upperclassmen in Thatcher that were helping me and like bringing my stuff up for me. So it's a really, really cool experience. They're just kind of there to welcome you, make that move-in process as seamless as possible. And then I kind of like to describe the house as continuing that seamless process as much as they can throughout the rest of your 4 years. So they're there to give you resources, whether that's academic support in your classes, whether that's connecting you to churches in the city, whether that's just simply someone to talk to and confide in about all of the new things that are happening with this crazy college in New York City that you're getting used to. Really just a support system, and girls and guys in the house that can just kind of be there for you if you need them. So yeah, that's kind of like what it looks like. Some people call it built-in community. I think it's really important to remember that not everyone finds their community in the house system. So there are student orgs, there are lots of other networks and ways to get community in this big city. But the house system is a huge one that we are really thankful for. Brent and Kylea, if either of you want to pipe in and kind of give another aspect that I'm leaving out, please do so. But that's pretty much how I would describe the house system.
Yeah, I do have one follow-up that someone just texted in, and they asked, is the house system done randomly, or is there some sort of sorting system?
Yeah, that is a great question too. We kind of compare it, we do compare it to Hogwarts, like the school in Harry Potter, where the hat kind of just chooses the house for you. So it's not like completely random, but you don't get to choose or anything like that. It's kind of like, I kind of like to think about it like this. There's a group of people like in admissions and the student development team get together and kind of assess the new incoming class. And what we want to avoid with the house system is like one stereotype fitting to one house. So we don't want like all of the smart people to be in one house. So like, oh, the smart person needs to go there because they'll fit in there, or like all of the athletes in one house either. We want them to be strategically diverse, so that each house has like different talents, different interests, people from different parts of the country and of the world. So that is intentional, I would say. So it's not completely random, but you don't get to like choose. You're never going to be like, okay, you're for sure in this house or anything like that. I hope that it answers the question.
Yeah.
One thing I'll add to that is like, it's when we talk about it being strategically diverse, it's very, they do it in a very well thought through way. Like King's is small enough, and we have a small enough freshman class every year that your admissions counselors can compare notes from phone calls. They have lots of things to go on about people that they can match them up well with other people who have different backgrounds, different interests, and different passions. And that way you can get houses that are very well mixed. And I'll add that in a city of 8 million people, having a school that's as small as King's with 500 students, and your house is going to be about 40 to 60 students. And so you'll be able to make much closer friends much more quickly in such a big environment by having these two smaller groups. And so that's one of the primary benefits of the house system, is having that smaller community right off of the bat.
That's great. Kylie, let's jump to you. Can you talk about student orgs a little bit, just kind of outside of the house system, if someone wants to get involved in a different area of the college? Have you been involved in any? What do the student orgs at King's look like?
Yeah, I would love to. So student orgs, I am predominantly involved in debate, which is a really great, I love it so much. We win so many trophies, and like you get to travel all around the country and sometimes internationally, and the school pays for it. So I highly recommend doing debate. It's a really great student org. But I think a big thing about it is we recognize not everyone's going to find their community within the house system, and that's okay. And you can go out and do student orgs, and they also have leadership teams, so you can really climb the ranks there. And another thing I think is really important to touch on is you can make a student org no matter what your interests are. Like we had so many new student orgs come up last year just because people were like, hey, me and a couple friends really want to do this. And they draft up a charter, they submit it to the director of student organizations, and then they have a new student org. So yeah, I'm pretty sure we have a British appreciation student org started by just like 3 girls who were just like really in love with the Great British Bake Off, and now we have a student org about it. So yeah, I can't speak highly enough of our student orgs.
That's great. Brent, I think this would be a good question for you. What types of internships do students get? Do most students have an internship? Is it a big thing or not? Kind of talk about that and maybe your experience.
Yeah, no, funny you should ask. It is definitely a very big thing. The interesting thing about King's is because of where we are, internships are a really big part of what we do as a school. And so as far as emphasis on internships go, some majors like the religious and theological studies major actually require an internship for graduation. You guys are all able to see me fine? I'm not breaking up? Okay, cool, because my screen is it's almost frozen. Anyway, but so 94% of our students will complete at least one internship during the time at King's, and that's a focus that we think is really important, getting people involved in their actual field during the time that they're in college. And that's reflected within our job placement rate. Within 6 months of graduation, we have 98% of our students are employed full-time or in graduate programs. So it's really pretty cool that we have that and access to those opportunities within the city. For me personally, I've been a big fan of the journalism publication National Review for a very long time. And so last fall, I went to Matt Perman, who's the director of our career development. I went to him and said, hey, Matt, big fan of National Review. I'd love to work for them. Do we have any sort of connections that can help me get that position? He's like, actually, we know the wife of the editor-in-chief. So let me just look over your resume, give me a few pointers, and then I'll send it to them. We did that. I had a meeting with him. He sent it off to the wife of Rich Lowry, who's the editor-in-chief of National Review. And then within a week, I got an email from these National Review guys, and they said, hey, we want to meet with you, talk about what this position could look like. They basically ended up creating a position for me. So it wasn't something that I applied for, but they created a position for me. I've been working for them about 10 hours a week this semester, and that's continued virtually. So it's been great. And then they even, by like February, they offered me a summer position that's paid. And so I got credit for it for the spring. And then for the summer, I'm actually going to get paid remotely or not, depending on circumstances. I'm going to be able to have that internship. And so we just have a lot of great access to some pretty cool opportunities. King's is really well connected within the city. And we have an enormous emphasis on internships as part of careers.
That's great. Can you guys, anyone can jump in here, just talk about your relationship with faculty, maybe what's your favorite class, what professor, if you've made a relationship with them, just kind of touch on that a little bit.
Yeah, I have a really, really cool story. The faculty ratio is 12-1. So for every 12 students, there's one professor. And so we kind of just off the bat have an advantage, just like with how much one-on-one time we can get with professors. They pretty much always have office hours available. Most of the time, some of them can't because they're like, they live far away or something. But for the most part, our professors have open office hours. And if you choose to take advantage of those office hours, it'll change your whole experience. I did when I was a freshman, and I ended up developing a great relationship with a professor who's big in the theology department. His name is Dr. Drew Johnson, really wise guy. And I had him my first semester in a Hebrew literature class, an Old Testament Bible class that every King student has to take. So yeah, through office hours, I just kind of developed a great relationship with him, asked him a lot of questions about theology, and like talked to him about my Christian background growing up. And also he has a student sign-up sheet where he invites students over to his house in New Jersey, where we can meet his wife, meet his kids, and kind of just have a family meal around his table, which is really cool. And he's not the only professor that does that, by the way. So just through those types of opportunities, I developed a great relationship with him. And then it was kind of funny. My sophomore year, he spent a semester in St. Andrews, Scotland, doing research. He got offered the opportunity to do research for a semester at St. Andrews. And I got to go visit his family, and we like rented a car and like drove all over the country of Scotland over my fall break. And so that was a really, really cool experience. Obviously, that doesn't happen every day. It doesn't happen to every student, but it just goes to show how willing our professors are to let us into their real lives. They're willing to have us over to their homes and just talk to us and learn about our lives and get to know us on a level that goes much deeper than the classroom.
That's awesome. Okay, I have one more question that I'd like all of you to answer. Each of you, I mean, you're all tour guides, so you obviously love Kings and love what it's about. Can you each just say, maybe for 15 seconds for each of you, just why you love Kings and why you're glad that you're here and a student, even virtually, that you're still with us. So BG, you could go. Kylie, you can go first.
Yeah. So I think it's because it gives you a sense of autonomy and control over your own life. So like there's nothing that feels better than walking down the street, like walking down Wall Street, hearing the clack of your heels as you walk to class. And there's just something so great about that. And then you go to a school where everyone knows your name. And I think Katie Shoemaker told me, she's like, the same problems that you have at King's, you're going to have at other schools, just with people who care about you a lot less. And I think that really shows through our curriculum and through our faculty engagement and kind of the culture that we foster here at King's.
I can go next. I think Kalia hit a lot of the nails on the head. I think that the biggest thing I love about Kings is that they genuinely treat you as an adult. They give you a lot of responsibility and a lot of ability to make your own decisions. Own apartment, you get your own internship, you get a job to support yourself, you can make your own food, you wear professional clothes, you take responsibility for your own academics, you find a church, you get involved in it. It's a lot of really important opportunities, and I think that it's really great that Kings trust us with as much as they do, because it prepares you in such a better way for the workforce. So it's a more difficult transition from high school to college, but it makes the transition from college to the real world that much easier because of it.
I would say one of the best things about Kings, and the reason why I love Kings so much, is that it truly is transformative. Taking the classes at Kings, being a student, living in, I mean, aside from just learning how to live in New York City, the classes and the curriculum at Kings truly changes your life. And it's so much more than just acing tests and like writing a good research paper. I mean, we're dealing with ethics and philosophy and economic theories, and reading literature that is like, has been shaping and influencing history. So I think that is like just the coolest thing about our liberal arts education at King's. We really come out like on the other side after these 4 years. We're different people, and we just have such a more sophisticated knowledge about the way people work, how the world works, and that kind of thing. So yeah, I would just say like especially in the classes, but also just living in the community, the types of opportunities that King's offers to serve in the city, serve in the house system, and get to know the professors. I mean, we come out with just a completely different worldview and sight of the world. And so it really just transforms us as people.